they just really didn't have a clear idea of what they were doing. Everyone knows who Superman is, everybody knows who Batman is, and everybody knows who Spider-Man is. So why do we have to keep doing their origin stories over and over again? We get it. Am I gonna have to see Uncle Ben die every 10 years? I know he died. I understand Peter got bit by a radioactive spider. Why does it take an hour to introduce us to shit that we already know? People who don't even read comics know that Peter Parker got bit by a radioactive spider and know that Uncle Ben died. Like, move on. And it's tragic that there are some really great elements and moments in this film, but it's just totally wasted on a movie that's bad overall. Ball officially dropped. I'm negative about The Amazing Spider-Man because I know that it can be so much better. I know that if you put this into the right hands, someone would do something great with it, something that we would all be blown away by. And the sad part is about all this, because Sony has the rights to Spider-Man, that Spider-Man probably is never going to be in an Avengers movie, and that's a bummer. Can you imagine Spider-Man in an Avengers movie? That would be so fucking awesome. Everyone would lose their minds. I would lose my mind. But no, Sony has it.
Hey, Peter, you coming tonight?
I can't tonight. I got the Stark internship.
What's up, guys?
Mr. Stark, here's my report for tonight. I stopped the Grand Theft bicycle.
Hey, could you do me a favor? Hold on to that. Is this anybody's bike?
So, Spider-Man Homecoming just came out. It's the 6th Spider-Man movie. It's a new Spider-Man movie done by Marvel and Sony working together.
Yay! Everyone loves it. Everyone is happy again.
Yeah.
So much positivity.
But, you know, of course, I have a couple of small criticisms, you know.
Oh, great. Here we go again.
Here we go again, what?
It's time we address the data that I've crunched.
Oh, what's that? What is this data you crunched?
Our ratings have been in the dumps lately because you keep giving all these movies bad reviews lately.
What? No, that's not true.
Yes, it is.
No.
Just look at this. First, you poo all over King Arthur. Oh, King Arthur sucks. It's the worst. I threw up. Then the Mummy gets it from you. Oh, Mummy is stupid. Universal Monsters franchise. Hollywood is dumb. Then Transformers 5. Oh, Transformers 5 sucks. I'm not even gonna see it.
Well, in my defense, all of those movies did suck. And I can't, it's not my fault. You know, it's not my fault if Hollywood pumps out a bunch of crap 5 in a row, you know?
Your bad reviews are ruining this channel.
I don't think that's accurate.
Don't listen to him, comic book girl.
Don't worry.
I doubt the data that he's crunched is accurate.
I mean, I don't know what data he's getting numbers from where. I think he's just pulling it out of his ass. I don't think that he's looked at our analytics page at all because we have not been losing subscribers.
Yeah, I think that the channel health has been very healthy lately. I don't see any problems. What is Robot talking about?
I don't know. He's a dick.
Hush, space hemorrhoid. I'm talking here.
What are you basing this on? Like, what data are you using to come to these conclusions?
I saw Floyd Henderson 42 say, this channel is dead.
Oh, so you're getting your information from the comment section. That's where it is.
Yeah, that's right. And I noticed that 5 people unsubscribed last month.
Well, that's actually pretty good if it's only 5.
No, that's terrible. You want them all.
You know,
We're bleeding subscribers over here. Ratings are in the dumps. First, you bring on Space Brain. Then our ratings take a tank.
what ratings?
Then you start a book club, as if anyone reads books anymore. That's why everyone is unsubscribing.
I mean, I don't think that's 100% accurate. I think there's a lot of new subscribers that we have.
I know how to fix this channel.
Sure, tell me how.
You need to always have nice things to say and smile and give every movie a good review, even if you don't like it. That's the key to success. I crunched the data.
Well, I mean, that is the key to success for some reviewers out there. Yeah,
You know, once you lose a subscriber, they're gone forever.
yeah, right.
They never come back.
That's a lie.
Never happened before.
That's a lie. I bet they come back all the time. Can't get enough.
Yeah, they come back.
And they love Space Brain. There's a lot of Space Brain love out there. Some people like Space Brain.
Well, that's why our ratings are in the dumps.
Yeah, it's all over
It might be over, unless you turn it around.
with Positivity.
Yes, you need to give every movie a good review from now on.
Okay. Try my best.
Hi, my name is Robot, and I loved King Arthur. And I loved The Mummy. And I loved Transformers 5.
Good evening, Peter. You have 576 possible web shooter combinations.
That is awesome. I can keep that suit?
Yeah, doesn't fit me.
When's our next retreat?
What, next mission? We'll call you. All right?
It's not a hug. I'm just grabbing the door for you. We're not there yet. All right, kid. Good luck out there.
Well, Robot, since you think I'm not positive enough, let's start by talking about some of the things I like about Spider-Man Homecoming. First and foremost, I love Tom Holland. The casting of Spider-Man in this series, I think that this kid is perfect as Peter Parker. He's perfect as Spider-Man. He has that dork face with like a Spider-Man body, you know, and it just like totally works. Because if you're
Dork
gonna play,
face?
yeah, if you're gonna play Peter Parker, like you gotta have dork swag. You know what I'm saying?
Dork swag?
Yeah, you have to have that dorky element to yourself. And I feel like Tom Holland absolutely has that and plays it off perfectly. And I also feel like Tobey Maguire did a really good job with that. Now, Andrew Garfield, not so much, all right? Like, he doesn't have dork face. Let's be real about it.
Yes, and I thought that this new version of Spider-Man perfectly relayed the fun that you would expect from someone being Spider-Man.
Yeah, I can agree with that statement. And the next thing that I liked about Spider-Man Homecoming is that we have a Spider-Man movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Sony and Marvel, they worked together, they reached some sort of weird custody agreement, and they're sharing their Spider-Man baby. And so now Spider-Man can be where he belongs, which is the MCU.
Yes, when you think about it, we could have been having a Sinister Six movie right now.
Oh, Jesus. I mean, fuck. The next thing I liked was the humor. There was a lot of really great humor in this movie. I really liked it when we saw those Captain America promos that they play in school, like in detention. Like, that was so funny. And then, like, the ending credits sequence with Captain America was also just like, wow.
Yes, that was one of the funniest end credit sequences.
It was meta, it was self-aware. I mean, it was just, and it's so great to see. Like, Captain America is Cheesemo, and he's doing all this, like, Cheesemo shit that Captain America would do, but then in the very ending shot, you see Captain America even be like, how many more of these have to fucking do? Like, he's like, I'll do it, but, like, fuck, man, this is a lot. That was funny. I also think they did a really great job with portraying high school. You know, we have, like, all these high school kids who look like high school kids. I mean, I know Tom Holland's, like, early 20s, but he looks really young, and I really liked the casting of all of his friends. I loved the casting of Flash. I like totally bought them as high schoolers, and their humor and like the way they interacted with one another. I like the school being a magnet school. So
What's a magnet school?
a magnet school is you have a school where they're like, oh, are you good at like arts or sciences or whatever? And then they have the kids who are a little bit more talented go to this particular school where they have more classes and those sorts of things.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's where I should go to school.
Sure.
I'm talented.
I think that would erase your memory if you went to magnet school. Yeah,
I don't get it. What is
No.
it? What's so funny?
Don't worry about it. It's bad. It's a bad joke. And I liked that they took a fresh approach on the Flash Thompson, Peter Parker bully situation, where they didn't have Flash be a jock who's trying to physically intimidate him. They have him as a troll who's like trolling him and calling him Penis Parker and getting like all these other kids at a party to call him Penis Parker and trying to like spread that, you know. It's like, I thought that was really well done. And I thought that was more realistic.
Yes, I read an article where the writer said that in real life, Spider-Man would be stronger than any bully, so a jock is not really physically intimidating to him.
Yeah.
Penis Parker.
That sucks, man. That sucks being Penis Parker. But that's funny. It's perfect.
Space Brain is penis brain.
Good one. Yeah. That didn't work as well.
Ah, that doesn't work, does it?
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought that was gonna work.
No. Another thing I like about this new Spider-Man, as opposed to the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, is that he has the fun, like, quippiness, you know? Like, Spider-Man makes, like, bad jokes and stuff like that. Like, he's known for that in the comic books. And so it's nice to see that represented, because we did not get that in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies.
The rich and the powerful, they don't care about us. We have to pick up after them. We have to eat their table scraps.
These alien bastards are tough. You gotta use the stuff they use. The world's changing.
It's time we change too.
I also liked the interpretation of the villain of this movie. We have Michael Keaton playing the Vulture. I love Michael Keaton in this role, and I like the direction that they took this character in. You have him, he starts off as this working class guy. He's like so excited about cleaning up the aftermath of the Avengers, Battle of New York situation. And then he gets like fucked over. And so he turns to a life of crime because he can't work like and do his legal thing. He keeps getting screwed over. He's a little man low on the totem pole. So, and that makes sense with like a vulture, like they're scavengers. And so he's a scavenger. And that's kind of similar to what's in the comics. It's like not too far off. It's a really great reinterpretation for today. And I did like that in the comics and the cartoon series, the Vulture was like stealing youth and stuff sometimes. I'm glad they didn't do any of that sort of stuff. I loved when he was being confronted with that guy who was the Shocker to begin with. And he's like, you know what? You can't afford me being out there. I'm gonna go tell your wife, whatever. And he's like, you're right, I can't afford that. And then he blasts him with this gun and kills him, like vaporizes the dude. And he's like, oh shit, I thought that was like the anti-gravity gun. Like he's like, no, that one's over there. I thought that was really well played. Cause he's not like a bad guy. He doesn't want to kill people, but it's like, whoops, well, fuck it. And everyone's just like, ugh. And I really buy the motivation of the villain. Like he was a small business owner and he gets fucked over by the government and by other big businesses like Stark Industries, And then, cause it is hard for small business owners. Like I'm a small business owner, like I totally get it. In fact, you should look into Killdozer, okay? There was a guy.
What's Killdozer?
There was a guy who got so fucked over. He was a small business owner and like this concrete factory like blocked off his road, and then he was like trying to like build a new one, and then the city wouldn't let him build a new road to his own business, so his business was ruined. So he decided to take all of his money and build an armored bulldozer, and then go bulldoze all over town and destroy all the people who had fucked him over. Like the mayor's house got fucked up, that concrete factory got fucked up, the police station got fucked up. Like he just got his revenge.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But he had just cause. Like, I don't know. I kind of like, I see why he felt like he had no other recourse. Cause like nobody cared. He was just, oh, small fry, fuck you. And it's like, no, I'm fuck you. And so, Vulture's motivations like really work for me because I've seen it happen in real life. So it's like, I totally buy it. I'm like, yeah, this makes sense. And he's just trying to provide for his family. He did get a little greedy though. I mean, of course, but.
Comic book girl.
Yeah.
Have you ever been screwed over by a larger company?
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if they know they have more power than you do, and they use it, and they try to push you around real hard, and you've got to like really like stand your ground against these big companies because they are dicks. And I also liked that the Vulture's outfit was going around finding this like Chitauri alien tech and then, turning it into other things. Like that makes sense. And I like that they're working that into this. I love it when the ramifications of other movies work into what's going on now. It's very nice.
Weren't they selling it or something?
Yes, they would make all these new inventions out of this alien tech and then sell it to other people.
Ooh, talk about the scene under the bridge.
Yeah, I did really like the scene with Donald Glover where he's trying to buy some weaponry and they like keep showing him these like ridiculous fucking weapons and he's like, look man, I just need like a gun or something. I don't need to like send someone back in time, all right? Like I thought like that line like really made me laugh a lot.
That was funny.
So good. I also think that this particular Spider-Man suit is my favorite Spider-Man suit of all the Spider-Man franchises. I mean, I do think it has too much of the Stark tech stuff, but the eyes, like being able to open and close and being expressive, that was totally missing.
Ooh, that was cool.
Oh, it was so cool. And like, it really really brought it home for me because in the comics, his eyes that's how he emotes, is like his eyes get bigger and smaller and they haven't been able to do that in the other movies. And so I've always been kind of like, it doesn't look quite right. But now I'm like, yes. There was too much tech in it though. It was like too much.
I liked the shot where he had 500 webs in his hands.
It's too many. It's like way too many, Tony. I did like that it's this kind of loose bag thing that he puts on and then it sticks to his body. It's very Neon Genesis Evangelion inspired.
Oh, that was cool.
Yeah, it looks like the plug suits. So, and I always thought that worked really well in that anime, so it obviously worked really well in this.
Okay. Sounds like you loved everything about Spider-Man and there was nothing at all to complain about. Thanks for watching my channel. Subscribe.
Well, not so fast. There's really one thing that I want to talk about. Like, my main issue.
Oh, here it goes.
With this Spider-Man, this incarnation of Spider-Man. Because we've seen him, this is the third time we've seen him on the big screen, rebooted the whole franchise.
I almost had us waiting back those 5 subscribers, and now you're ruining it again.
Now we're gonna lose 5 more! There's an essential element missing from this Spider-Man film. And that is the burden of being Spider-Man. It's like from the outside perspective, people think, oh, being Spider-Man must be fucking awesome. You've got powers, you get to swing around, you get to save people. It's like, it's a whole thing.
Yeah, it is awesome.
But in reality, like the reality of being Spider-Man is that it places the burden of responsibility upon him, and that burden is really hard for him. And he can't keep his life balanced because of it. It hurts his relationships with a lot of his loved ones. And this struggle originated in the comics. It was absolutely present in the 90s cartoon series. In Spider-Man Homecoming, the tragedy of being Spider-Man was not really a tragedy at all.
What are you talking about?
Well, every time something went wrong and he had to let someone down, it just didn't really have any real consequences. Throughout this movie, I was just waiting for some bad shit to happen to Peter Parker, because we don't see the Uncle Ben thing, which I'm glad that they didn't show Uncle Ben. You can't keep killing Uncle Ben. But I was waiting for someone to be the Uncle Ben sacrifice who isn't Uncle Ben. For example, when the piece of alien tech explodes, I was like, oh no, one of his classmates are gonna die and he's gonna feel so bad, but it's totally fine. When that alien tech goes nuts and explodes across the street, the sandwich factory place, and I was like, oh no, the sandwich guy's gonna be dead, and then he was totally fine. Even the cat was fine. When he missed the academic decathlon, I was like, oh no, they're gonna lose without him, but they totally win without him. When he ditches his date, I was like, oh, she's gonna hate him. And then at the end, she's like, that's totally fine. Even Aunt May, it's oh, Uncle Ben's dead, who cares? She's hot. She's having the time of her life. She's getting all this free food now. Ned didn't get in trouble because he knew the secret, It's just oh, Ned's gonna die, something's gonna happen to Ned. No, it's totally fine. And
what's your problem?
Well, but that's what Spider-Man is. It's a problem being Spider-Man. It shows the other side of it. And that's what's so interesting about that character, is that when you're trying to do something that's greater, when you go beyond being a normal person, having a normal life, and you try to do something that's greater, there's a trade-off for that. There's sacrifices you have to make for that. And they're very uncomfortable and they're not fun. It's the sacrifice that Peter Parker has to make in order to be Spider-Man, even though he never asked for this power, even though it was a total accident. With great power comes great responsibility, and responsibility is a burden.
You want to hear the accurate truth?
Sure.
People don't come here to see you have intellectual girl opinions. They want to see 3 things only. A hot chick talking about movies, a little bit of TNA, and they want to see a Fun Times robot. I've been bringing up my end of the bargain. What about you?
I did a Dark Phoenix body paint last year. That was a lot of TNA, so I bring the TNA.
Not lately. Not lately.
That's true. Yeah, I should.
Point being is we need to be more positive around here.
You know what? You're right. Let's be positive. Let's be positive. And I do have something really positive to talk about today. I am in love with Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2. It is the best fucking Spider-Man movie, hands down. I rewatched it the other night. Oh, it's just it's peak Sam Raimi.
Oh, do you know who else thought that Spider-Man 2 was such a great movie?
Who?
The famed movie critic, Roger Ebert.
And I think it may be the best superhero movie I have ever seen. We reviewed it on an earlier show, but I want to take another look at the way director Sam Raimi respects the classic Spider-Man character by giving full attention to the dilemma of Peter Parker.
So now we have 3 different iterations of Spider-Man on the big screen in under 2 decades. We have 6 Spider-Man movies, so now we have like a little bit more perspective. And I went back and I watched Spider-Man 2 recently, and it really made me realize what a perfect movie that is, and that Sam Raimi deserves like so much credit, and I don't feel like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2 gets enough credit at all, because it perfectly encapsulates the tragedy of being Spider-Man, of being Peter Parker. Sam Raimi takes exactly what's in the comics and then perfectly translates it onto the big screen.
I want a life of my own.
You've been given a gift, Peter. With great power comes great responsibility.
So you've already seen this movie, but you know what? We're just gonna pop this in, and we're gonna watch this whole movie together right now and break it down, because good movies are worth thinking about. So in Spider-Man 2, it is a complete continuation on the first Spider-Man. It like picks up right afterwards. This time he is in college, he's out of high school. The first one he was in high school, so now he's gonna deal with like being an adult on top of being Spider-Man, and he's having a really hard time with it, okay? He's having a really hard time balancing his life.
I'm trying. I want to be here.
Then be here.
He loses his job as a pizza delivery boy. He can't keep a steady job. He doesn't have his rent, you know? His fucking landlord is always up his ass about it. He's like super fucking broke all the time. You have the media trolling him constantly. You have J. Jonah just like always calling him a menace, but he has to sell pictures to this asshole.
Spider-Man won't let me take any more pictures. You've turned the whole city against him.
A fact I'm very proud of.
Ah, what a fucking shitty situation to be stuck in. You have Aunt May, and because Uncle Ben has died because of Peter Parker's actions, she can't pay her rent. She's gonna lose her house. And also, he hasn't told Aunt May the truth, and Aunt May is beating herself up over Uncle Ben's death and blames herself, okay? Like, the fucking tension of having to, like, tell her the truth is real, okay? I really feel it in that movie.
Here, kiddo, happy birthday. You need it more than I do.
No, I can't take that.
Yes, you can. You can take this money from me. For God's sake, it's not much. Now take it. And don't you dare leave it here.
Also, you have his relationship with Harry Osborn. We met him and Harry, they were total friends, and then now, like, Harry's like, what the fuck? You know who Spider-Man is. Spider-Man killed my dad, you know? Like, this secret of him being Spider-Man has poisoned his relationship with his best friend. Not to mention Mary Jane, all right? In the first movie, he has that Spider-Man kiss with her, and like he like kind of wants to be with her, but then he can't, and he's like, no, I have to be Spider-Man. And that's continued on in this movie where she's like, really? You really don't want to be with me? I know you love me. What is the problem, dude? And he's like, oh, I have to keep this secret from her. I don't want her to get hurt. And how the secret of being Spider-Man is hurting his relationships with his closest friends and family and the girl that he loves.
I don't know you. And I can't keep thinking about you.
Like, he has so many problems. You couldn't give him more problems than they gave him in this movie. He ends up having an existential crisis. Like, all of these things lead him, Peter Parker, to having an existential crisis where at one point he's literally looking out the window being like, why can't I have what I want?
Am I not supposed to have what I want? What I need? What am I supposed to do?
Is my life so miserable? Like, I'm not happy doing this. And he's so unhappy doing this that his powers crap out on him because his higher self, in a way, like, cuts off his powers so that he's grounded, so that he has to focus on his Peter Parker problems in order to be Spider-Man.
All the things you've been thinking about, Peter, make me sad.
I'm Spider-Man. No more. No more.
And then we get this really cute montage of Peter just focusing on Peter. He's getting his life together. He's showing up to class. He's getting great grades. He goes to Mary Jane's play. He's eating hot dogs in the park. Everything's great.
You take Spider-Man's pictures, right? Where is he?
He, quit.
But he eventually comes to the conclusion that not being Spider-Man is not really the solution either. That he is both things. He does have a greater responsibility with his power as Spider-Man, and he really does have to figure out how to balance these two things.
Picking up where we left off.
Where was that? We never got on. You can't get off if you don't get on, Peter.
I don't think it's that simple.
Of course you don't, because you complicate things.
And that the ultimate solution is that he has to come clean with all of the people in his life. He has to tell Aunt May that he's the one who's responsible for Uncle Ben's death.
I could have stopped him, but I wanted revenge.
And like, there's this amazing shot of him putting his hand on hers, and she pulls it away, and then it just pans up to her face. And she doesn't say anything to him. She just leaves and walks upstairs, and he's just like, oh no, like, she's gonna hate me forever, like, but he had to finally come clean about it. He comes clean with Harry. Harry finds out that he's Spider-Man, and like, they have to deal with that.
There are bigger things happening here than me and you.
He also tells Mary Jane that he's Spider-Man, and he's like, I do love you, but I can't be with you because it's going to get you hurt, and I can't have that on my conscience.
But you made a brave move in telling me the truth, and I'm proud of you.
And now he's leveled up. He's still gonna have problems. Spider-Man is still going to be an issue for him, but he's dealt with the immediate problems, and now he's like ready to take on larger problems.
Strong focus on what I want.
And now that he's dealt with these issues with the relationships with the people closest to him in his life, he is now able to come back as Spider-Man and deal with larger problems. And not only that, when he saves all of those New Yorkers on the train, and then they all like take him back in, and he doesn't have his mask on, and they give him his mask back.
Slower, gently.
All of these amazing, colorful, like New York extras are just like, dude, we would never snitch on you, Spider-Man. Like, you just saved us, and we see that you're just a person just like us, and you're a New Yorker, and we're not gonna ruin this for you, dude. Like, cause we're here for you. And now finally he gets this validation, from his city, that like, no matter what the press is saying about him, the city does need him, and the city does appreciate him.
He also tells me you're lazy.
Trying to do better.
Being brilliant's not enough, young man. You have to work hard. Intelligence is not a privilege, it's a gift. And you use it for the good of mankind.
And not only does Spider-Man have this amazing, perfect character arc, so do his side characters. Harry, Mary Jane, Aunt May, and even Dr. Octopus. I mean, Dr. Octopus is done so fucking well.
Where is she?
Oh, she'll be just fine. Let's talk.
You can't top Melina as fucking Dr. Octopus. You really can't. It's done so well. He's translated perfectly. Because, like, here's the thing. Like, Doc Ock is not sexy. He's kind of a fat guy. He's, like, a little overweight, and he has a weird haircut. He has this weird bowl haircut. And, like, they totally made it work. And they totally made him scary. I was just, like, so in on that. Because Dr. Octopus's problem is that he has a problem with his vanity, with his pride. He thinks that he's so smart that he can handle this power and control it when he can't. It's like, just because you can create power doesn't mean you can control raw power like that. And so he has these like little metal arms that he puts on himself, and he explains that there's this inhibitor chip in there. And his inhibitor chip gets screwed over. So now these like little snakes that are attached to him are like talking to him. And that inhibitor chip, now that it's gone, his inhibitions are gone.
We could rebuild, enlarge the containment field, make it bigger and stronger than ever.
So now this man's pride, this man's vanity is exponentially exaggerated, okay? And so now he's like, you know what? The real crime would not to be to make this fucking free power, this free energy from everyone. So we're gonna do it again, but this time we're gonna do it even bigger. It's such a great representation of the shadow self. You know, like Dr. Octopus becomes full shadow.
What's a shadow self?
Well, the shadow self is the part of yourself that you don't want to deal with, that's kind of like the shitty aspects of your personality. Everyone has a shadow self, okay? We all have aspects of our personalities that are not awesome. And so with Otto Octavius, his intentions are good. Like, he's not a bad man. Like, his intentions are to create cheap energy for the entire world so that everyone can have power and it's chill. And like, what an amazing intention that is.
Are you sure you could stabilize the fusion reaction?
Peter, what have we been talking about for the last hour and a half? This is my life's work.
Because while his intentions are really good, his shadow self, his pride and his vanity are what fuck him over and potentially endanger the lives of tons of other people around him. At one point, before everything goes wrong, he says, the power of the sun in the palm of my hand, you know? And that's just like, you can't have that. Like, that's too much. Like, that's not gonna work. Like, you can't, nobody can control the power of a sun, you know? Like, that's fucking ridiculous. That's cosmic power.
Then what happens?
Earlier in the film, Aunt May had given Peter Parker some great advice.
I believe there's a hero in all of us that keeps us honest, gives us strength, makes us noble, and finally allows us to die with pride, even though sometimes we have to be steady and give up the thing we want the most, even our dreams.
And then later on, you know, Peter Parker also reveals to Otto Octavius that he's Spider-Man, and he gives that Aunt May advice to him.
You once spoke to me about intelligence, that it was a gift to be used for the good of mankind.
A privilege. It was my dream.
Sometimes, to do what's right, we have to be steady and give up the thing we want the most, even our dreams.
And that philosophy that he receives allows him to be able to snap out of it and control these fucking snakes for a minute. You know, this higher advice, you know, really clicks into place for him. And then he decides, you're right, this is fucked up what I'm doing. I have to fix this. And he sacrifices himself to fix his mistake. You know, he takes responsibility for his actions and ends up paying the ultimate price for it. I also love how, you know, Mary Jane is a real character and that she's been having all these problems because she was saved by Spider-Man in the first one. They had that Spider-Man kiss, the upside down kiss that was like so hot. And she's like, part of her is in love with Spider-Man, but then also she's in love with Peter Parker and like she's feeling this cognitive dissonance, and then Peter Parker's an idiot, and then she never sees Spider-Man, and then she's like dating this other guy, J. Jonah Jameson's son. And then like finally, when the truth is revealed, you know, it like heals like all these problems within her, like heals all these emotional conflicts that she's having because Peter Parker couldn't tell her, you know, he was hurting her. And now she's like, oh my God, it all clicks into place. I love Spider-Man because I knew he was Peter Parker. Like I had a suspicion, and then I love Peter Parker. And you know what? I know that it's gonna fucking suck, and I know that I'm gonna be put in danger, but I can't help but love him. Fuck this guy. And she jilts J. Jonah Jameson's son at the altar, which I think that she could have maybe figured it out a little sooner than like the day of the wedding, but whatever.
It was dramatic though.
I mean, yeah, it's true. I mean, I get it. You know. But she has a great character moment, and then it's also perfect for Peter Parker because it's like, yes, he does get the girl, but she realizes the weight of this responsibility and takes that burden away from him, and it's like, look, I'm gonna make the decision here. I think that it's worth me potentially being harmed to be with you because we have to be together because we love each other. Like, we're like, what? Like, we have to be together. And he's like, well, fuck yeah, you know? And I love, like, they're making out. She's in her wedding dress, you know? They're finally like, oh, we're gonna be together. But, like, he hears the sirens and she's just like, go get him, Tiger. You know, like, I'm gonna be waiting here naked when you get back, you know? And he's just like, yes! Like, my girlfriend understands my problems. She's gonna let me be Spider-Man. And then when I get back, we're gonna have hot spider sex. And, like, yes! Like, it's just the ultimate perfect ending for Peter Parker.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, you really sold me.
amazing. And the thing that I love about this movie is that it absolutely understands what it's doing with your emotions. It's so tight, you know, and there's payoffs to everything. There's no loose ends. It's just perfectly, it's just so great. Like, Sam Raimi really understands this character. He really understands Spider-Man. He knows what he's doing with your emotions. He just takes you on emotionally a perfect ride.
And that's probably why the writers of Spider-Man Homecoming avoided everything that had already been done by Sam Raimi.
Yes.
Very good.
You know what's sad?
What?
Is that Sam Raimi did such a great job, yet Sony didn't let him have the creative freedom he needed on the next movie, Spider-Man 3.
I know. I mean, like, they had it so good that they didn't know how good they had it. Sony had it so fucking good with Sam Raimi that they became prideful themselves. And they were like, hey, we know what we're doing.
They were like, the power of the sun in my hands.
Yeah, right. The Sony was like, the power of the sun. Like, they totally did the wrong, like, they totally went Doc Octopus and fucked up Spider-Man 3. Because I believe that if they had just let Sam Raimi continue to make them amazing Spider-Man movies, then everybody would have been golden. It would have been good. We wouldn't have had to have Andrew Garfield Spider-Man.
And we might be to Spider-Man 5 by now. Sam Raimi, Spider-Man 5.
I mean, who knows? You know, we could have Sam Raimi Spider-Man 5. Well, yeah, there was a Spider-Man 4 that he was attached to working on, but then that didn't work out, obviously, because they decided to reboot and then do the Andrew Garfield thing. But, like, Sony just, like, really fucked that guy over. And it's like, why? He made you a literal perfect Spider-Man movie that's awesome, raised the bar in superhero genre movies. I mean, everyone's like, oh, X-Men, you know, like, yeah, we owe X-Men whatever, but like, we really owe Spider-Man 2 because that's a perfect film, and that's what made people be like, oh shit, superheroes are a viable thing. We can make more movies off of this. I love Sam Raimi, all right? I love Sam Raimi, and I was so excited for him when he got the Spider-Man franchise because, you know, Evil Dead, Darkman, I mean, like, he's perfect, you know, and you know that he was an actual fan of these comics. You know he read them growing up, he gets the characters, and he's talented enough to be able to translate them.
Final fusion from C7.
He has this very cartoonish quality that I like about his directing, like the way that he like does these zoom-ins on things, like it just really works for a comic book movie. And I mean, okay, seriously, that scene where Dr. Octopus is in the surgery lab, you know, and he's out, and like it turns into just a straight up horror scene for a minute. And you have these doctors being like, being dragged into shadows by these tentacles, and then you had a fucking Evil Dead reference with the chainsaw. It's like, oh, you even had Evil Dead reference. And not only that, Bruce Campbell makes an appearance as like the snooty usher. It was just like, yes. And Ted Raimi, we get some Ted Raimi action. Oh my god, J.K. Simmons is fucking J. Jonah Jameson. Like, that is the ultimate Aunt May. Like, she's just ripped from the comic pages. I mean, she's just an old lady and she's like crying over Uncle Ben. She's just like, there's no following that. Like any other older woman who tries to be Aunt May, everyone's just gonna be like, she's not that lady. So that's why they have to have like hot young Aunt May, you know, because they're just like, we can't even touch that. So let's just go with fuckable Aunt May. Let's just do that instead because there's no following that.
And I can't blame them for that, can you?
I mean, I can't. They're really in a pickle, you know? They're really in a pickle. Spider-Man 2 really puts them in a hard place because it is such a perfect Spider-Man movie that encapsulates all of the problems of being Spider-Man and Peter Parker. Nobody can top it. Nobody can top it. It's a problem. Spider-Man 2 is so good that it's a problem for anyone else who's gonna touch his franchise. That's Sam Raimi's ultimate revenge. You know, that's his ultimate revenge. It's like, you know what, you may have fucked me over on Spider-Man 3 and potentially fucked over my career. Because, I mean, he hasn't been directing a bunch of big movies since then. I feel like he got blacklisted because he made them too good of a movie. It's like, it sucks. Even though this new Tom Holland Spider-Man, like, they can't top what's already been done because it has been done so well, you know, that they couldn't redo it and they couldn't touch it. the thing that I'm really looking forward to with this character is seeing him in the next Avengers movie. Because that's all new territory, you know, like we got a taste of him being with the Avengers, you know, in the last Captain America movie, and it was so much fun. So that's really what I'm looking forward to, is seeing this character in the MCU, in the larger scheme of things, having to deal with these larger problems and working with these other superheroes. I think that is going to be a lot of fun.
Okay, all right. I see what you're saying. But I still don't know if we've won those 5 subscribers back or not. I'm just gonna say, I thought that this Spider-Man movie was perfect, and I love every movie that ever came out.
You heard it here first. Robot loves every movie. You guys can come back.
Subscribe to my channel, and like this video.
Like this video. Leave us some comments below. How did you feel about Spider-Man Homecoming? How do you feel about Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies? How do you feel about the Amazing Spider-Man series? You know, let us know. What do you think? What would you have done differently? Am I an asshole? Let me know in the comments below.
Oh yeah, there were some people that were very angry at your Amazing Spider-Man series review back in 2012.
Really? Because that movie sucks. It's so bad. Did you guys see Electro? Did you see that?
But it's my birthday. Everybody else is leaving. Why do I have to stay?
Because you're special.
Smythe. I mean, Mr. Smythe.
Happy birthday.
And it was like, look, if you guys are gonna take inspiration from the Schumacher Batman films and essentially just do the Riddler's storyline, like, fuck you.
For a take, Joe would pick up his megaphone, his bullhorn, and go, "Remember, everybody, it's a cartoon."
Remember, it's for stupid kids. Like, that's what you're taking inspiration from? Like, a Batman movie that nobody likes? Like, get out of here. Like, what are you doing? Especially recently after seeing Jamie Foxx in Baby Driver, where he's like stole the fucking show. I mean, like, he was so good in Baby Driver as Bats. And then to see like how terrible he was in that film, it's just like, wow, you guys really just must have had terrible directing, terrible script, terrible producing, because you got this awesome actor over here and you're making him look like, you're making Jamie Foxx look like an asshole. And like, what the fuck was that fucking Hobgoblin? What the fuck was that? That kid, ugh. Ugh.
Remember the scene when he cried on the bed?
Yeah, the fucking scene where oh god, it's all coming back. I had forgotten it. I had blanked that out of my memory, and I'm just, ugh.
I have to go get a part for my truck. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Don't talk to the trolls while I'm gone.
Okay. Out of you, you little fucker. What are you doing? Stay enough of you. Don't touch me. I had enough of you. You got no right. Help! 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 You're going back where you belong.
I'm back. 19. What happened to the troll?
I flushed that little shit back down the toilet where it fucking belongs.
Oh no, you've made a huge mistake.
Well, what did I do wrong? You're taking forever.
I'm afraid you failed to follow my advice. Now you're on your own here.
What? You can't just leave me high and dry. You said you were gonna help me.
My advice was always conditionary, man. Here's your bill for the trolls.
That's why I think you're a bill.
This whole place is gonna be swarming with trolls soon. I'm out of here.
What? This is an outrage. Where are you going? You can't just leave me here like this. I'm gonna call the Better Business Bureau on your ass. You're gonna get the worst Yelp review